This BlackMyth Wukong thing has descended into depravity. I kid you not. The Turk went ahead and did tests. He showed BlackMyth Wukong is running on less than 10 gigs of VRAM. Actually, about 7 gigs of VRAM, medium settings. He built a PC that would emulate VRAM and RAM usage, measured it with Task Manager, showed chapter 1, showed chapter 2. No one said anything except Nib, who tried to dance around it, but everybody was like, Nib, the numbers are right in front of you. Then Nib started to run around and say, well, there are 12 developers who said that the Series S is a challenge for them, of which almost all those 12 developers have already launched their game that they said was a challenge on Series S. Hence, their old previous claim is basically going to become, we have learned to get better and get good. We got skill. So Nib goes out. He's not going to drop this point. I mean, again, I don't expect him to. And he starts to make these claims. But then somebody shows up on the scene. Now, by policy, I don't usually cite people on the channel. Once in a while, I will, if I see that maybe they're trying to malign the truth. I want us to be educated, guys. So this is an educational piece. I'm not here to bash anybody. However, I think we're going to learn something. This person took that clip, the one where they had hampered the Windows by putting 4 gigs of RAM, which is basically supposed to hold Windows, and then 6 gigs of VRAM to show that the game that's not supposed to work is actually working on a system that's been hampered even less than the Series S. It's like saying, okay, now we know that on hardware similar to the Series S, BlackMyth Wukong can run. Let's run it on, like, say, an Apple Watch. It's probably going to break, and then it worked. So this calls into question what the developers are really having problems with. That's a separate conversation. This individual comes up and then says, after a week of arguments with Nib, former Xbox and PlayStation developer Turk shows that BlackMyth Wukong would be a hot mess if it were to be released on the Xbox Series S with 10 gigs of memory. Validating Wukong creator claims that the game was not released for Xbox due to its resource limitations. Now, this second statement is already false. The first statement is also false. The second statement is false simply because the developer said, 1, the 10 gigs is hard to optimize for, and then 2, we don't have the experience. So this statement should actually say, due to its resource limits and the developer's lack of experience to compensate or work within those limitations. So the second statement is a lie by omission. The first statement is a lie by obfuscation because they never cited chapter 1 and chapter 2's data that showed that BlackMyth Wukong is running on hardware that is geared like the Series S. Instead, they've come to take the hardware that is actually, scaled and geared to be way worse than the Series S to draw their conclusion. And you know what happened? This is not even the worst part. So the Turk called him out and said, if you had just read the tweets, it would have probably been helpful for you to go ahead and make the best conclusion. The person went ahead and replied and said this. They said, listen, dude, I have all the respect for someone who has been there and done that, and you have. By working for dev studios, what I do not have respect for is your cockiness. All this time, you could have just pointed out what was wrong. He did. He did. He did. He did. You refused. You refused. You refused. You refused because, again, you want to justify your evil. And they said this, but you decided to turn it into a play. With all the experience in your bag, you would rather sit and argue with people instead of doing something meaningful. That's what triggered my post. You gave me a chance and I took it. Please do better. Just because you know more doesn't mean you have to be an ass. So nowhere in this comment does he say that your post was wrong. Instead, it's a justification on why this individual decided to go ahead and obfuscate the data. This person thinks that they're justified in lying because they do not like the cockiness of the original investigator on the matter. Are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing this? All this time you could have pointed out what was wrong. So the moment that you pointed out just an interesting piece, I took the chance so that I could basically do you in by pretty much lying on you. By pretty much obfuscating and lying on what the truth and the reality is. That's what they're saying. Or maybe at least that's how I'm reading it. I could be wrong, but please bear me witness. Is this to you a quest for truth? Does this look like it's a quest for truth? This to me is malice. This right here is the problem with the gaming conversation. This is why when you go to these people's podcasts and their Twitter feeds, I can smell you from 3 miles away because you come around with these kinds of attitudes. You think that just because you have something that you feel, it then becomes a truth. We could not be bothered about these consoles, to be very honest, I gotta say. But man, these folk have been so long-toothed, and they think they could just walk around with the audacity and just say what they want and walk away. This individual, I'm not going to mention your name today, but I am now very much attentive to how you conduct around this conversation. No, I'm not going to follow you on the internet. Get the heck out of here. I don't think integrity is something that many of these people care about, because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, all you have is your name. Whether it be your nickname or whether it be your screen name, whether it be your fake name, it's still you. Just because nobody can see who you are, it's still you. VG Fight School, Emake, that's my first name. It's Nigerian, from Southwest Nigeria. That's all I have. It's my name. The Gamer Dad, that's my main YouTube channel, but my name is Emake. That's it. And if your name is soiled in, disingenuity and lack of integrity, you're done. You're done. And these people could not be bothered. They sit down behind these fake screen names, no integrity, a lack of any kind of moral, obligation to follow the truth. And they feel emboldened to do what they want to do. Because you said he is cocky and he could have just said what the truth was when he did, not just once, but twice, and then going over and beyond to show it. And that offended your feelings, and you then felt the need to go ahead and maliciously malign what he has said. This is why I followed this thing very well, because I wanted to see how the reactions would come. You notice, before this third clip that they're all citing and running all over the place with, right? They never said anything about the first two clips. When Nib got his, tail handed to him and he tucked his tail and ran to the 12 developers, and some being anonymous that are saying that the Series S is difficult, who then all released their games. Dune Awakening developer, the one from Rocksteady that was whining that they told to shut up. Did the game not come out on the Series S? All of these other guys. When games like Ghost of Tsushima can run on PS4, just keep in mind that is actually a thing, right? That's actually a thing. That Fortnite runs on the Series S, same engine, right? That is actually a thing. When it was all said and done, they did not say a single word. But once this clip came out, they all jumped on this clip. I won't mention their names in this video. I won't even give you any hints. You can go find any information for what it is. But once you see their names, you have to realize and understand that these people for far too long have profited off of lies. It's one thing to do so, but it's another thing to malign somebody else's character, feeling justified, and then twisting their words and lying on them because you felt that you could do that. You can't. You're not allowed to. The truth doesn't let you do so. The truth is, BlackMyth Wukong can run on a simulated build of a PC using less than 10 gigs of VRAM. This doesn't draw any conclusions that, BlackMyth Wukong is going to run on the Series S. No one even drew that conclusion. You know what the crazy thing is? No one's even said that. No one has said that. No one has said that. We're just getting to try to get close to the issue, because more and more a statement was made by Microsoft. If anything, this experiment is actually trying to prove if what Microsoft said is the truth or is a lie. Because we know that Microsoft actually came out and made a statement and confirmed that BlackMyth Wukong delay not due to platform limitations. Comments on exclusivity. This was by Paul Tassi, where he basically cited a statement given to him by a Microsoft representative. The company has confirmed that the delay of BlackMyth Wukong is not due to technical issues with Xbox platforms, and instead, similar to its original statement, points to outside platform developer deals. The statement reads, "As we have said before, we're excited for the launch of BlackMyth Wukong on Xbox Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We'd prefer to not comment on the deals made to our by our partners with other platform holders, but we can confirm that the delay is not due to Xbox platform limitations that have been raised to us." So is Microsoft lying? Well, from what we're seeing, the game is running on hardware that is actually closer to the Series S. So it's likely that what they said, we have at least something to back it up. And what the developers at Game Science is saying doesn't seem to line up with 10 gigs of RAM limitations, which they cited even in their most recent comment. something is up here. Something is going on here. If you're not of the skeptical mind, then sure, eat whatever they feed you as a sheep. Some of us, we're just extra skeptic. We like extra sauce, right? Yeah, we got to add extra seasoning to it. That's fine. It's just everyone's got their own little thing. But for you to come out here and basically say, oh, you're offended by that, I don't think you're actually well equipped for the debate. You are trying to engage in a debate that is relegated to maybe adults to actually go back and resolve, and you come in with the mind of a child. I don't think you're ready for this. And this is it. Many of these PlayStation talking heads, they've run around so long just saying nonsense. This is not even scrutiny. This is a guy that's taking time from his if say somebody like Gamers Nexus or somebody actually took time to simulate different aspects of the possibilities for BlackMyth Wukong on 10 gigs and 3 gigs and such of RAM and whatnot, do you know what's going to happen? That's why they're very audacious. I guess with their collective and with even what Mark Cerny had to do, with them pretty much going ahead to make up stuff about the PlayStation 5's, hardware composition and all of that, I guess that's not enough. These folk have no shame. They made a chief engineer shows up and has to basically clean the mess that y'all have made because you guys are a liability. That's what it is. When Mark Cerny came out and did Flopflation, I guarantee you the legal team read through that whole speech and said, yeah, you got to clean this up. Because that's how one day someone's going to go ahead and throw a class action lawsuit and say, oh, they never addressed or corrected that, oh, the teraflops are not the same. And then PlayStation's going to be paying money on y'all's behalf because you have a Twitter account and you can spout nonsense. Interesting stuff. Talk to me in the comment section, folks. Peace out.